Good afternoon and welcome everyone to the Uncensored live Q&A session. My name is Danny and I will give you this webinar today. This is the structure of the webinar. Firstly, we'll have the previous questions, which our team has prepared here, and then we'll go to the dynamic questions, which is the true purpose of this webinar. So this is a live Q&A. That means that you guys can ask whatever you want, like I said. And the following part, this one is a bit more informative. It's not, I'm just going to send you some links here to save you the trouble to look for them on the website, even though, okay, we'll get to that. This bit here is to help us explain a little more about technical analysis, perhaps fundamental analysis, unless we're going to cover those subjects through the questions. Yeah, okay, so it's important to know that any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only. It should not be constructed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. Now, I would like to say that the webinar here is live, but it's also recorded. It's a very common question if it's possible to get a recording of the webinar, and the answer is you can find the recording on our YouTube channel. So you can just go to YouTube, search for AvaTrade, and you can find a whole library with previous webinars, this previous webinar, other fundamental webinar, technical webinar, everything is there for your convenience to watch. All right, so I want to make sure that the webinar is recorded, so it shouldn't take me too long, just a few moments, and I'll be back and we will begin. So I'll be right back. Thank you very much. All right. So we are back and we can finally hit the road. I hope that everybody can hear me. If you guys can use the question section to let me know that the sound is in a proper level, because the indication from the software, it's showing me that it's a bit light. I'm not sure if it's good on the other end. Thank you, Phil. Very nice of you. I hope that everybody beside Phil can hear my voice properly. Michelle, very nice. Okay, so let's hit the road. We are going to begin with the previous questions, as I said. So the first question here is, can we get signals from AvaTrade? The second question is, can AvaTrade provide me with personal assistance? Okay. How to set stop loss and take profit? Okay. And last is, how can I balance my profit to be higher than my losses? Yeah, very nice. We have very interesting questions today. We are going to do the best to answer those questions. Let's first take the question and paste it down on a notepad here. Okay. And let's go on the platform that we've prepared. Okay, it's important to know, guys, that the platform we're gonna have the webinar upon is not it's on the browser. Okay, it's a desktop version. It's on the browser. You don't have to download or install or anything like that. All you have to do basically is just to log into the email to the website with your email and password. You're supposed to be right here. If you are in any other screen here, okay, anything you clicked on as an example, and you wish to go back to the chart, you can just click here on the AvaTrade icon and it will throw you back to the beginning. Sometimes it looks like that. It's completely fine. It's completely fine. You have the toggle here, which you can move it up and down. Furthermore, you have two tiny arrows here. You click it and it goes all the way up or all the way down, depending on what you want. Yeah, I just wanted to say a few words about this interface because not everybody is using the same interface. We also have MT4 and MT5. Okay, but we're going to carry on with this one. All right, so the question here, can we get signals from AvaTrade? All right, so the signals can be accessed via two ways. One, as you can see, there is a light blue icon here, lightning icon here. If I click it, this, you see, I just picked randomly one of the currency pairs. Nothing special in here. It's marked on my favorites. So we can go with Euro Yen as an example. And if I hit here the lightning icon, it's going to send me to the signal section. Not to the signal section, it's going to open the signal as you see here with pre-made analysis on a certain value. Okay, we're going to explain about that from the signal section, but I wanted you guys to know that from the signal section you'll have to dig down manually. See, if I go to the signal section, I have to go through the assets here to find what I'm looking for, unless I can filter it from here. Let's see, commodities. It's going to filter, narrow down commodities, cryptos, narrow down cryptos. But I can't, in particular, I can't pick an asset and see if it has a signal or not. And if I'm only trading, let's say, one of the forex pairs, okay, or one of the currency pairs, and I scroll down, I'm looking for something in particular. Let's suppose that I'm trading Aussie versus Canadian, right? Australian dollar versus Canadian dollar. Now, if I want to know if this has a signal or not, going through this list here is very time consuming, and I'm not sure where it's going to be because it's ordered by the timestamp that it was produced, right? And now, if I have to find this currency, it might be problematic. So how can I do it without going through the list here? I can do it from the outside. Can do it from the outside from here. So if I want to search Aussie CAD as an example, oh, sorry. So that means I'm going to click it from the list. As you can see, I click it from here, and it's opened, showing me that it has the signal. And then I can know if it has a signal or not. That doesn't make any difference in terms of usage. If I'm using it from here or I'm using it from the signal section, it makes no difference. The only thing is, though, that the production stamp in here appears only after you click on the signal. So that means that I can't know when this signal was produced. Was it an hour ago? Was it already 4 hours ago? Of course, logically, we understand that a signal that was produced just now and a signal that was produced 4 hours ago might act differently, right? Signal that has been too long since it was produced, the levels that was designed, that was analyzed on that signal could have been already passed because the market, as you can see, constantly moving. Therefore, I might bump into, let me show you an example of a signal that is no longer valid. Okay, it seems like, oh, as you can see, this is Litecoin, right? Yeah, so you see, Litecoin is an example. If I wish to trade that and I want to use the signal, it's not marked, as you can see, with the rest of the signals with take profit and stop loss. Now, why is that? It's because this signal has the levels that was analyzed on that signal has already passed. What do I mean by that? When I click on the view signal, it shows me here bluntly the market has already reached a key level. So in here I have a scenario for a buy, intending the value to increase, right? And I have a scenario for a sell, intending the value to decrease. Now, logically, when I'm buying something and my intention is it will be higher, if I wish to use something called take profit, which in a minute we will understand what it means. Let's click here, buy. Take profit, what it does is is instead of me closing on a particular price manually, let's suppose that I want to close it at 60, let's say 7. Okay, as an example, we must change the time frame. Time frame is too small. And also, this is something you might want to do as soon as you open a signal. You see, I open a signal, and the chart looks like that, and I don't get the same levels as the chart here from the picture that we see, because the highest as I can go is 6666, right? And the lowest one is 6582, but in here it's presented 70, and in here it's presented 69.6. So how come I can't see the picture? The reason is, picture here is daily, and every candle here is 1 day, and in here every candle is 1 minute. So of course this is much more zoomed out. If you let me show you, this is a very further picture against that one, and the reason is because, like I said, this is days and this is minutes. This is minutes, and in days there are many minutes. Therefore, if I'll change it from minutes to days, you'll be able to see the same picture as we get here. Okay, approximately. Yeah, it's not going to be the same, but at least we get to see the levels that we want. If we would like to place the lines and do some further analysis, let me remind you guys, we're analyzing a signal that has already passed. This is mainly for the sake of the explaining. It's not useful. It's not useful because if I click here, nothing will happen. You see, I click sell, no take profit and stop loss. I click buy, it does the same thing. Okay, but as a procedure, this is something you might want to consider when you're using the signals. Okay, you want to open first the signal. Let's go with Dow Jones as an example. Okay, you expand it. You see the validity here is daily. We're not looking at minutes. Of course, we're not going to see 41,560. Okay, it's way too high, right? And even if we do, it's not really convenient as in here. So we can change to daily. Okay, let's switch back to daily. Yeah, and now we can do the things properly. All right, so how does this signal even work? Let's take a valid one because we looked at the signal that has already passed, as we read. The way that it works is we have a sell scenario or a buy scenario. Let's go with the buy scenario. Let's suppose we assume that it will turn around. Okay, I'm going to click here on the buy. I have here certain levels of support and resistance. We have the pivot point. We have the last. And if I go out, I can also see what levels it was analyzed upon. We can see into the entry here, assuming the signal was executed on point, is 41,117. Okay, and if I wish to carry on, all I have to do is just click sell or buy. Let's go with a buy, like I said, as an example. All right, and we can see here that the buy, the take profit is marked 41,230, which is in here. Okay, and if I'm not too happy about it, I can also increase. Of course, it's something that I can consider if the ratio doesn't look right, or I don't want to use the signal precisely as it was analyzed. I can modify that. I can not only modify the take profit and the stop loss if I want, I can also modify the lot size, right? If I want to test things out before I'm doing anything further. Okay, now one more thing before the production stamp and the validity of the chart. What you want to do is you also want to do your own analysis. Okay, it's not mandatory yet anyway. Of course, if I wish the signal if I wish to use the signal as they are, I just want to show you a demonstration of how easy it is, right? So we click here on the view signal, we'll click here on sell scenario this time, and we are on. Yeah, all I have to do is click sell again, and everything will happen automatically. The take profit, if it reaches 2,500, which is in here, I can potentially gain 84. It's 2,504. Okay, I'll teach you a nice trick. You see, it doesn't let me place it on 2,504. Oh, now it does. Now it does. Sometimes it gets funky. You see, it doesn't let me place it there. So what I can do is I can place it anywhere else. Let's say here as an example. And then I can click it and I can change the coordinates from here. Then I don't have to play with to land it on the exact price. All right, so this is supposedly our take profit since we are with a sell. And as we spoke about it, when we are with a sell, our intention is that the value will decrease. The stop loss is 25.25, which is here, right? And then if it gets to here, we can lose 60. You see that it took me exactly 10 seconds to get ready to launch the signals. The lines are my addition, but of course you don't have to do that. Again, look how simple. Let's go to buy this time. And again, I'm ready to go. Okay, all those tips that I gave you are basically tips to improve your experience. Of course, you can do further analysis. You can add fundamentals into it. You can look at your own support and resistance, add Fibonacci, whatever you want. Okay, but the signal, if you want to use it only the signal, it takes exactly 10 seconds. All right, so this is regarding the signals. Okay, signals section explained on the screen. Okay, now let's take that and move it here. Okay, also I'm going to note down signals can be found on the left hand side by clicking on the signals icon. All right. Can AvaTrade provide me with personal assistance? The answer is absolutely yes. We spoke about it many times in our webinar. Personal assistance can be given by a senior account manager, okay, which can assist you with the following. Okay, risk money management. This is, of course, is an example. Trading plan, calculations, and trading analysis. Basically with everything you need from trading, since most of the, if not all the account managers that we hire are also trading, which gives them the ability to understand, comprehend, and of course assist you along your journey from almost all aspects. Okay, the service doesn't, by the way, doesn't cost any addition. We provide that depending on the eligibility, so you can check with the customer service if you have a senior account manager assigned on your file. Yeah, can be very helpful. Yes, let me just put that here. Oh, sorry. Account manager can be assigned on your account after you after the account is funded. Okay, an account manager can assist, which he can assist. Okay, the following. Of course, they can help you with much more than that, but to sum it up just to the basics, oh, I should have taken the whole thing, I think, just like that. Yeah. Right. How to set, you see, so the stop loss and the take profit, one way to place them is obviously use the signals, right? No, but if we want to really to do it manually, let's learn how to do it manually. Okay. And this time, let's go with one of the indices. And let's go with Nasdaq. Believe it looks interesting these days. Most definitely. Let's switch to days. Very nice. All right, so take profit and stop loss. We've understand that those are pending orders. Pending orders. We have three. The first one is execute when price hits. Second one is take profit. The third one is stop loss. Okay, open the position automatically when reach price. Okay. This one we're just going to change it to close. So it closed the position, closes the position. Reaching the price with a profit. Let's not use brackets for now. Okay. That one does the same thing, but okay. Now, with this understanding, I can basically trade without being by the computer at all. The question is, if I just randomly, let's suppose I look at the resistance, place it, and here I look at the support. It looks pretty interesting. Let's put it this way. Let's put it here. Okay, so we've got 20,031.25 and we got 17,751.6. Now, if I go by the way, just to understand how support and resistance works, okay, we look at certain points on the chart to indicate when can be a certain peak or a potential reversal as support and resistance. Okay, this is very strong support. If this would have been my room, okay, so I have the ceiling and I have the floor. As you can see, that level here, the 20,000 mark, the 20,000 mark is something that passed only a month ago. Sorry, much more than that. This is August, so this is a month ago. This is 2 months ago already. Okay, not exactly 23 of July, 23rd. Okay, but we understand that this level is some level we want to acknowledge. Now, how is that any help if I in practice with support and resistance and with trading? Because I understand at this point here, which created consolidation for the past few weeks, right? From the 21st until now, which is quite a while ago. Okay, remember, well, look, we are now looking at days. So each candle here is a day. So this is roughly a week, this is 2 weeks. Okay, now with this level in mind, with this resistance in mind, I understand that Nasdaq couldn't go beyond that for this period of time, that period of time, and before that. Okay, only one time it was here. Now, the 20,000 mark is something I can think of that might be challenging for Nasdaq to pass unless something fundamental will happen, and then of course we'll have a reason. Just so you guys will understand the terminology that I'm using. Technical analysis is basically looking at the numbers here, adding indicators, understanding what can potentially happen, but eventually the reason, the main cause of things to happen, just a second, excuse me. The main reason for things to happen are mostly from the outside, from news. Okay, so I can do technical analysis all day, but at the end of the day, I have to be well aware of what's happening in the world, with indices, with economic changes, with interest rate changes, with employment changes, because at the end of the day, this is an indice, so especially in this case, which is an umbrella of companies, of stocks. Okay, so if I'm aware of what's happening in the economy, and I'm aware of, I can show you a nice way. See, if you go to Discovery, you don't have to click on that, just a point, and you go to Market Buzz. Then you can have a nice idea which companies, as you can see, NVIDIA is mentioned a lot of times because of, well, if you'll read, you'll know. I don't want to tell you now. Okay, just because we don't have the time. It's very important. NVIDIA is, well, considered to be one of the pioneer in terms of high-tech graphic cards, along with AMD, that's giving a serious competition, and NVIDIA now is doing remarkable changes. Okay, for the good or the bad, we don't know. We're going to judge. We're going to see how things will turn out. But as you can see here, that looks very bad. Very bad. Okay. Again, I'm not here to judge anyone or to tell you if to trade NVIDIA or not, but I'm showing you here a nice way to be familiar with one of the stocks that can be among the indices that we're looking at. Okay, and it would make sense for an indice to respond if one of the stocks underneath has done something significant. Okay, it's not always linear, but could really give you a nice idea. Now, going back to the question and to support and resistance. Okay, let's put aside what we saw with NVIDIA. We focus now only on the chart. I have a reason to believe that in here, it might be a point where Nasdaq can either pass, maybe turn around, or consolidate around it, or close to it. Okay, so for me, this point here might be vulnerable to aim for with take profit. In this case, I'm going to take the 20,000 mark and I'm going to lower it just a bit for something that I find a bit more frequent. Maybe here, maybe even here. You see, because in here, look how many days it's been across that level. So that means that if it passes that segment, which is another support line. Let me remind you guys, resistance is the roof, support is the floor. Okay, resistance is higher points, support is lower points. That's also this is also a support line. It already passed, as you can see, it passed the. Let's look at that. All right, so I want to know what the numbers on this candle are, the numbers on this candle, but I don't get anything when I point on the chart. The reason for that is because this crosshair is not enabled. means that if I'm going to go to here where I see the mouse icon, the arrow icon, I go from no crosshair to crosshair, that's going to show me now the numbers on the candles. Now, if I'm looking at this guy, I see that the lowest low on this point was 18925.25, which clearly was passed just yesterday, right? Even before that. Even before that, yes, not exactly. It just touched, but it closed higher. Okay, it didn't proceed going down. That I don't want to complex things, but it's important for me. It's important for me that you guys will understand the logic of what I'm doing, and not just to tell you you can place a take profit here or here. So this is why I'm telling you the whole story to understand the situation here. So when I'm looking at the higher point, and let's suppose again that I'm aiming for a buy, and I think, okay, my resistance might be too far. I think it might be vulnerable to place it here because it might take it some time to get here, if it will get here. This seems to me a more logical place for a take profit, since it's been there 4 days ago, a week ago, and more. If we go backward, okay, so I have statistics here by my side. Again, it doesn't mean that fundamentals shouldn't be included before I open the position here. Then I'm going to go with clicking on the take profit, simply marking here 19,636,985, which is a price again that has been occurred multiple times. And then the next thing that I'm going to look at is what I can, if this is my take profit, what I can gain out of this position, and to know if this amount is something I'm willing to accept, or I should increase maybe, because 0.01, again, I'm clarifying things on the way, is the bare minimum size of position that I can take. Now, I can increase my profit in two ways. There is another question about it here, right? Let me look at it. Just a second. Okay, how can I balance? You see the question here, how can I balance my profit, my profits to be higher than my losses? So how can I do it basically? First of all, we have to be able to design, you know what, let me get this question quickly. I'll paste it down here. Okay, so to be able to balance anything, we're going to work on both of them on the same time, right? So to be able to balance anything, first of all, I need to design the position in, well, higher profit, and then the losses. So I need to know how much I can gain and how much I can lose. The fastest way to simulate that is obviously just to use take profit and see the possible profit here, and then to click on the stop loss and see the possible loss here. Now, if I'm changing the number, this has turned to be our target price for profit. Okay, so this is our target price for profit, and this can be our okay, so we're going to examine this and that, and we're going to see the difference, but this is going to be my target price for loss. Okay, as funny as it may sound, if I'm not planning to lose anything and I'm not willing to lose anything, trading might be a problem for me, because obviously loss is part of the game. Okay, now how can I have a bit more control than just click here on the stop loss and hit the buy button? Because in here I see that it's $8. Very nice. I can gain 670 and lose $7. Okay, but let's check what is the price that it's suggesting me automatically to close. And then I'm gonna go to the chart. I'm gonna take 18,959.75 and see that it's actually here. even 18,985. Just a second, guys. Yeah, basically it's very close to where it's at. We're not going to be able to show you this unless we're going to switch to minutes. And even then, now we can see it. Now, what does that mean exactly? Remember, we were looking at days. Now we're looking at minutes. So this is zoomed in into the chart just to show you how close the stop loss. You see it turns at almost, there we go. There we go. Now I'm unable to place the stop loss that was suggested 20 seconds ago. Who can tell me why? Why can't I launch the position? What's the problem with the stop loss? Why doesn't let me do it? Anybody has any idea? Very good, Libra. It's not lower enough from the price. So what do we understand? Just to share with the audience what Libra is claiming and it's correct. The stop loss needs to be lower enough from the price. Why does it need to be lower enough? Because there is a minimum length that I can choose from the entry onto the stop loss. Otherwise, what would happen is I'm just going to click here buy, and it's going to launch it and close my position, basically getting to that at the same moment that I open the position, which is futile. Why would I do that? It's like losing intentionally. So the platform suggests a certain difference that allows the market to maneuver a bit before it reaches the stop loss. From that, we understand that placing the stop loss is not only about support and resistance, and it's not only about the loss. There is also needs to be a certain measurement before my entry to the stop loss, being careful that it won't be too close. Because again, if it's too close, we're just looking at what keeps on happening here. And if I click it again, it's going to suggest me something else, as you can see, which in a lower price, lower value, lower price. Okay, never mind. We understand the general idea. Let's go back to the days. Okay, looking at our beautiful picture here. All right, let's get rid of that. We don't need that. Okay, and now we have two candidates in here for the stop loss. One is 18,671.42. We have another one 17,751.6. Now let's test it out. Let's see the differences. What would happen if it gets to here? What would happen if it gets to here? Simply going to take the number from here by clicking on the line and then paste it here. And it's going to straight away show me that if it gets $279 down, I can potentially lose, well, $279.78. How does that work? What's the logic behind the numbers that we see here? Well, that's very simple. Because we acquire only one indice, and the destined price to do it is now. Okay, that's market execution, execution at market price. The difference between the now price to the price of the stop loss is $279. Let me just show you that quickly. Okay, I hope it makes sense. What did I do? I just took the current price minus the stop loss price, which basically gives us the difference. Or I can just add this on top of that, but never mind. That's the basic. Basically, that's the same thing. Now, if I place it in here, I can lose potentially 275, and I can gain 671. Okay, in terms of numbers, I can live with that. I can live with that. But let's see if we can extend the stop. First of all, I want to see what you guys think about placing the stop loss here. Is that wise, or is it who thinks that it's good and who thinks that there should be can be a better place for stop loss. Anybody else has any idea for the stop loss? Anybody, any suggestions? All right, Camille, let's see the other line. Okay, so let's go with what you suggested, Camille. Let's check the other line and see. We're gonna take the other line, take the number again, click your save, paste it on the stop loss. Ooh, okay. All right, now, okay. So we said if it gets to the, let's keep it pink, you know, let's keep this one pink. That one we can make it maybe white or something. All right, now, if it gets to the pink line, we potentially could have lose 277, right? We saw that. Now, when I targeted this price instead, it's no longer 277 potential loss, but now it's 1,187. The reason is, as we said before, we were just holding one indice that gets down $1,189. This is what we can lose. If it would have been 10 units, it would have been 10 times more. Same apply with the take profit, right? Okay. And now, yeah, that makes sense. And now we're looking at completely different numbers. Okay, so let's bring it down, and let's also bring down the okay, before we take it back, which we can, and it's not a problem, I just want to show you guys a nice way to know how severe, how good, perhaps, placing the stop loss in here with this difference, right? So we're going to add here a segment with a question, how can I check my exposure? Because placing the stop loss and the take profit, there are two main parameters, how much I can gain and how much I can lose. Compared to what? Compared to either my balance, all right, or my strategy. Otherwise, if I just place it randomly, as we saw, like the platform suggests, and I go with the nearest price, the minimal difference, maybe if you want to put it this way, let me show it to you again, just one more time, guys, for you to understand the concept here. If I click here on stop loss, it suggests the closest stop loss possible to perform. And that can lead me to close the position almost immediately. Okay. Again, it might be great. It might be great. I'm not saying this way or another, but I just think that if it's too close, we understand what can happen. All right. So with this in mind, we need a way to measure what is the exposure. So 1,100. Maybe I can survive that. Okay, I'll be left with 8,892 if I did it correctly. Okay, but I want to know in a percentage how big of an impact that will be on my balance. Okay, all right. So how can I check my exposure? So I'd be able to design a stop loss and take profit, right? How can I check my exposure? I can go potential loss divided by balance equals X, and then X times 100 equals exposure. Meaning, if I'm going to take 1,191, and I divide it by 10,000, which is my balance, that comes down to, okay, yeah, very nice. And you can see, guys, we are going to multiply. Oh, something happened here. Just a second. Yeah, we're gonna multiply that by 10. Sorry, by 100. Okay, let's go this times 100. Okay, 1191. 1191. Yeah, so this is 11%, almost 12% out of my position. 12% out of my position only with this, out of my out of my balance, only with this position. If God forbid, if it triggers with a red line. So let's bring it back to where it was, and we're gonna check how much is 270 270 out of the 10,000 with the same formula. Okay, so let's quickly add another tiny segment in here, and we're going to place 271 divided by 10,000. Okay, equals 0.27, right? Sorry, 0.027, if I'm correct, because we are going to multiply that by 100. Therefore, it needs to be another 0 here. And then what we are going to do is 0.027 times 100. And we see that the exposure here is entirely different. Yeah. This is something that I might find manageable. This is a very nice way. And as you can see, just by the nature of what we did now, we also design it higher than the losses. Profits higher than the losses. Okay, now I really understand that people find a way to make profits. It's not too difficult, but to balance the profit higher than the losses, this is something that a strategy should be able to do, right? It's fine to lose as much as I'm making more than what I lose. Okay, all right. So I think we can take the solutions here and just how can I compose the answer here? Okay, so to place stop loss and take profit, I can design the position with I can design the position on the web trader and to simulate what can be the potential result. Okay, and by that compare. Oh, sorry, that's the answer for that one. This one, I think it might be different. Okay, to place to balance my profit higher than my losses, can design a position on the web trader and to simulate a potential result, and by that to compare my profits to my losses. Yeah, it's basically the same exact way that I showed you just now. Same exact way. Take profit, stop loss. We see the results here. We can click on the plus or minus to move it up and down. I showed you a much more efficient way, but this is also one of the ways to do it. Yeah. Now, how to set the stop loss and the take profit. Take profit can be based on a certain level targeted on the price, leading to a certain expected profit. Okay. Stop loss can be based on a certain level targeted on the price, okay, leading to a certain expected exposure, right? So the difference here is very slim, but very important. When I'm designing my profit, take profit, if I don't have any number in mind that I'm planning to make, right? Let's suppose I don't plan to make a specific amount, so I can design it based on support and resistance. If I'm planning to make a certain amount, let's suppose that I plan to make, let's say, 1,000 or maybe something bigger, something like that. So how do I increase my profit? There are two ways. One, I can extend the same way I could have moved the stop loss to make myself lose less. I can do the same thing for the profit. I can extend the length from the entry to the take profit, and by that I increase my potential profit. That's one way. It's one way, but that means that we're going to change the analysis that we did. The second thing is if I increase the units, okay, and then I can make more. But the problem with this method, it will have an impact on my stop losses, on my potential loss as well. Okay, so we must balance between what we can achieve and what the analysis that was done to know what we are, how we can adjust it. Okay, before we increase or decrease. All right, so this looks pretty good. Let's see how much time we have left. So I think we have to move to the links because we don't have any time left. Okay, I'm just going to share with you guys a couple of things here, save you the trouble to find it by yourselves on the website. This one is for the education. This one is to logging and make a deposit. You wish to have a senior account manager by your side to assist you. This one is for the FAQ and the help center. This one, if you're still playing around with the demo and you are ready to level up, you can open a real account. And this one is also for the academy, but I'm going to show you now how you can access it just from the web trader, okay? But I'm going to send you the links here anyway for the people who are not using the web trader. But for AvaTrade, for people who are using the web trader, you don't have to use the link because it's here. It's right here. You see this play button here. There is tutorials and there is academy. If you hit academy, it's going to take you to the academy. And of course, if you hit on the tutorials, that's going to show you a whole very nice library which you can go through. There are lots of subjects here which can assist you along your journey, explaining about the account, explaining about leverage and margin, explaining about what are lots and trading, all kind of things, even analysis, all kind of things. I highly recommend you guys to check that content as well. Beside the webinars that we do, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to answer more questions, but I'm just going to thank you. I would like to thank you all for coming here today, joining us the live Q&A. I hope that it helps. I hope that you guys can learn some things from what I'm explaining, and it's not too fast and it's not complicated, but I try to make it as practical as I can. So I have to build it up to a point that we understand. Okay? All right, so thank you all. Like I said, I wish you all great week. As I said in the beginning of the webinar, it can be found on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, search for AvaTrade. All the videos are there. I wish you all fruitful week. Best of luck with trading and have a good day.